Hey everyone, welcome to our first episode of 50 Shades of Accounting Profit, Power, and PL. The podcast where we deep dive into the stories and strategies shaping the accounting industry in the US and UK as a whole. I'm your host, Sagar Ahuja, and today we are talking about something really big. We are going to peel back the layers of how firms are staying ahead in this competitive race by embracing the forward looking strategies. And you know that outsourcing is definitely one of them. It is more than a buzzword, it has a special place in the world of accounting today. It's a revolution on its own. And at QX, we've seen it all. In fact, we have been leading the transformation for over 20 plus years now, from the early days of body shop solutions to becoming the strategic partners for the firms around the world. We are not just filling the gaps anymore, we are managing the entire process, introducing automation, helping firms to thrive and survive. Joining me today is Prabhat Naidu, VP Client Relations, who has been with the organizations for over a decade. He has seen it all. He's been a key player at QX and has seen firsthand how we have stayed ahead in this race. Pramit, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Sagar. It's great to be here, and I'm really excited. This being our first podcast, where we talk about the journey on how outsourcing has become so much more than just some cost-cutting strategy. It's about growth, efficiency, and staying ahead in a rapidly changing industry.
Absolutely, Pramit. You said whatever you said, it was sounding music to my ears. In fact, let's kick the things off with a little history. Outsourcing, as you know, wasn't always the strategic powerhouse it is today. Back then, when QX started, outsourcing was about body shop, about manpower, just filling the positions and getting things done. But as we quickly learned, the modern wasn't sustainable. Can you walk us through how we evolved from a basic body shop solution to becoming the true partners of our clients?
Absolutely, Sagar. And I think one of the first memories that comes to my mind with outsourcing is people calling it call centers. And a lot has evolved and changed over the years. 20 years is not a small span, right? But over the years, we have been providing firms with extra hands to handle routine tasks. And so did the demands of the industry change as well as we progressed. Clients needed more than just people, they needed solutions. And we realized that in order to keep up with that change, we had to change our approach as well, right? We couldn't still continue providing that old school solution or a method of just providing people. So we became one of the first people to introduce the managed solutions. Instead of just providing resources, we were managing entire processes, taking ownership of workflows, ensuring that the results were aligned with the client's goals. It wasn't just about manpower anymore. It was about strategy, a solution on how outsourcing becomes an integral part of an accounting firm. So we're just not vendors. We become an extension of their teams. We are their partners.
And Pramit, the shift from manpower to strategy didn't stop there, isn't it? One of the biggest changes that we have seen in the industry is the rise of automation. And in fact, the firms who embraced automations, and of course, the practice of the future, as we call it at QX, it has actually driven the change so much in the industry. Tell us how automation became a game changer for QX and our clients. Any light on that?
No, absolutely. I think we've seen that. And Sagar, you've been part of those conversations where we've had with these firms. As they've been growing, the complexity of their needs have evolved. We knew that the manual processes, couldn't keep up with the pace, so we integrated automation tools into our managed solutions, allowing us to handle repetitive tasks like data entry and compliance work more efficiently. We've seen that shift, Sagar, and it was very evident, when boxes of paper used to come into our offices. There used to be somebody who used to scan it and then upload it. There are tools that can actually change that for you. You just upload it, the documents get scanned, and it's out there for you to post, right? There's so much work that's been taken off, but it's all for the better, right? So this meant our clients were free to focus on really high level strategic work, more on advisory, talking to their clients, advising them, guiding them. And in fact, this year, we are also offering one of our tools called Robo 1040 to our clients in the US. And I'm telling you, this is going to be an amazing tax season. And the clients will realize how much easier and how much efficient things have become since this tool is being implemented for this tax season.
And exactly, Pramit, you've absolutely nailed it. And here's where the number really back it up. The global outsourcing market for outsourcing services was valued at 130 bill in 2021, the size of the addressable market as we call it. And it's expected to grow by 6.2% annually through 2030. Now, automation is just not a trend, it's the future. The firm who automates, they build up the capacity and of course they're able to deliver. You've been, of course, hearing me talking about how firms are using the pyramid model approach to a diamond model approach, where the bottom of the pyramid is actually taken care of by automation and outsourcing. So it's really changing quite a bit. I absolutely agree. Thanks for those lovely comments.
Thank you, Sagar.
Pramit, now let's change the gears. Yeah, let's talk about one of the biggest innovations that we brought to the table, managed FT solution. You know that I've been a big fan of operating model. I compare at times why TCS, Wipro, Infosys, they have become the giant of the industry, in the BPM industry, when we call it here in India. The accounting industry as a whole, when it comes to outsourcing from India, hasn't kept pace with that. Now, could you throw some lights on it, how you're changing the operating model and what innovation has been brought into the operating model as a whole?
Sagar, as you know, the market has definitely evolved, and it isn't just providing people. It isn't about providing more bums on seats. It's about providing a solution, like I talked about.
Yeah.
So what we are providing is something called a managed FTE model, and we've built in a four-eyed review mechanism to ensure greater accuracy and quality control. And that's a standard, and that's a default that we want to offer with every single FTE that comes in. In essence, the aim is to ensure we reduce the review points that are being picked up by the clients.
And I keep on hearing, so the review side is one thing, Pramit, but the onboarding, the transition, the governance, the review, which we talked about, is absolutely inbuilt into the operating model, into the managed FT solution, isn't it? It
Correct.
helps a lot there.
No, that's true, Sagar. And this is the approach that has given our clients the confidence that knowing every single financial statement, their tax return, their audit files are thoroughly checked by two professionals before it reaches them. In fact, since we put this model in place, our NPS has improved to 89. And the CSAT scores are closer to 96. And it's a tremendous jump we've seen since the implementation of this model. And it's a reflection of what we've been able to deliver for our clients.
Absolutely. It's a great one. I mean, when you said CSAT close to 96 and of course NPS 89, I mean, I was literally trying to jump on my chair, and it's more than the gold standards that you see in the outsourcing world, right? It's absolutely going through the roof. So thank you for that, mate. Really appreciate that. All right, so that's the key point, Pramit. And it's just not about surviving the tax season or the audit rush, isn't it? It's about creating a sustainable model for growth by outsourcing the right way, using managed solution you talked about, or automation for that matter, where firms can really focus on the bigger picture. So let's talk about the future now, if I can. How do you see firms staying ahead of the curve with changes happening in the accounting world, especially to do with technology?
Absolutely, Sagar. I think that's a very important point, and people would need to see the history of how things have evolved and changed. And I think one of the points I didn't mention was a simple thing like scanning documents, how technology is supporting as well. But in the initial years, outsourcing was more of a stopgap arrangement where people were just wanting to fill in a gap where somebody is not available, somebody is on a leave, you need additional support during the tax season. That's where the outsourcing element was looked at. Over the years, that changed to becoming more of a people-based model where you started looking at people and resources on how they can actually support and become an extension of their organization. That evolved further to being able to provide solutions where these people become an integral part of the business and not just somebody who's delivering the work. And we've seen those people coming over and working from client offices, and we've seen clients travel to India offices as well to look at the setup and how things are. And moving from there, you're looking at a more technology dependent solutions, right? A blend of both outsourcing, not just the work, but outsourcing the technology aspect of it, of how
Yeah.
that gels well, the amalgamation of the two aspects of this sort of a model that takes the future ahead for these accounting firms. And like I said, it has to become a strategic element of your business, right? Where you're looking at it not just as a vendor, as a partner, and looking at the future of how this integrates well with your business plans, with your growth strategy, and getting the buy-in of the leaders of the outsourcing firm as well to equally contribute and keep the company ahead in the race.
Super. Thank you for that, Pramit. And that's the key message, isn't it? I mean, we keep on saying change is the only constant, but reinvention is obviously very, very important there. And QX didn't get to the place where we are today, practically the market leader, by sticking to the old ways. We grew because we embraced change, we introduced new solutions, we got to have, that strategic partnerships with the firm, really, hand in glove. And we want the same for our listeners as well. If your firm is still thinking about outsourcing as just way to cut costs, it ain't gonna happen. You're missing out on the big picture for sure. Outsourcing, automation, managed services, these are the tools that will help you to stay ahead of the curve and build a firm that is future proof, literally becoming practice of the future. Yeah, isn't it, Pramit?
Exactly, Sagar. And my advice is, don't wait for the industry to force your hand at it. Be proactive. Partner with the right people. Look at what your firms need. Look at where the industry is driving in the future. The new technologies that you want to implement in your business to help you scale up and grow. And that shift of mindset from a cost-cutting approach to a growth approach will make all the difference.
Thank you very much, Pramit, for those beautiful insights. And guys, that's all for the episode of 50 Shades of Accounting. And I'm Sagar, reminding you that in the world of accounting firms, it's the bold move that counts. Change is the only constant. We talked about it. And if you want to be the smartest firm, stick around. More great content is coming very, very soon. Subscribe, review, and share. Thank you very much.